We're going to do about 1 minute of just slow, deep belly breaths. And I want you to kind of imagine the inhale traveling up the back body and the exhale traveling out the front body. So as you inhale, you'll find length and space in the back body, separating the rib cage, expanding the rib cage. As you exhale, you'll slowly release the breath from the front body, just letting the belly be nice and soft. And then just gently and slowly lengthening both sides of the breath. Letting your body kind of melt into the mat, into the ground, allowing yourself to feel supported and grounded in whatever posture you're in at present. Think about softening the face as you lengthen the breath, letting go of any tension around the jaw. Just kind of allowing yourself to be here. And as you continue to breathe deeply, I invite you to set an intention for your practice today. So something you would like to focus on, something that's meaningful to you, something that's kind of resonating with you right now in your life. Bring that into your heart. Take a couple of deep breaths into that intention. And then before we start to move our bodies a little bit today, go ahead and take one more cleansing breath. And then using your in-breath, keeping your eyes closed if that's available to you, start to come into hands and knees. Let the pelvis drop down, the tailbone up. Cow pose. On an exhale, pressing away, rounding your back. Coming into cat. And just continue to flow with your breath here. Eyes closed might feel good. So inhaling, cow pose, kind of feel the extension of your spine, some movement into the spine and the pelvis. Exhale, notice that subtle engagement of the belly muscles as you round your back. And just take a few cycles of cat and cow, inhaling to cow, exhaling to cat. And just start some organic movements of your body. So whatever feels good here, if it feels good to shift your hips from side to side, if it feels good to drop your hips down and come more into cobra pose, you can do that. Just gonna see what feels good. Pausing anywhere where it feels like you might need a little bit of extra space today. And then coming back to that hands and knees position. Go ahead and walk your hands off to the left side of your mat. So your hands are going to be off your mat to the left. You're going to breathe in through the nose, and on exhale, let your hips drop away from your hands. Coming into a nice C stretch, elongating the right side body. In through the nose, out through the mouth with the breath. Slowly coming out of it, walking your hands back through tabletop, and then moving them off to the right side. Grounding down through the palms, breathing in through the nose. On an exhale, let your hips sink away, relax your head and neck. Breathing into that left side body. Coming back to the center, slowly walking your hands back through. Breathing in tabletop, and then as you exhale, go ahead and step your right foot forward. Come up to low lunge, but keep your hands framing that front foot. And just kind of gently bend and straighten into that front knee a little bit, coming into the legs. And then we'll keep the left hand planted, and then inhale the right arm up. Nice gentle twist here. And do whatever feels good with your arms. So if you want to kind of bring your hand back behind you, maybe to your sacrum, opening up that chest a little bit more, tucking the right shoulder blade down and back. Or you can keep the arm lifted, whatever feels good for you. And then as you exhale, release that hand. Walk your hands up your front thigh. Think about tucking your tailbone under a little bit, pressing the front of that left hip forward as you come into low lunge. A little bit of extra padding if you need it could be accomplished with just flipping that long edge of your mat, giving a little bit of support to that kneecap. Shoulders are going to stack over your hips. And then on an inhale, sweep your left arm up by your ear. And as you exhale, reach those right fingertips for the floor. So you're taking a side bend to the right. So lengthening this side of the trunk, maybe even getting a little bit of a stretch into the front and side of that left hip. And you can look down or up, whatever feels best on your neck. Bringing some awareness to the right foot. Try to soften the muscles in the bottom of the right foot. Spread your toes nice and wide for balance. On an inhale, sweep both arms all the way up. Soften the tops of the shoulders. As you exhale, press your palms forward and round out the mid-back. So chin drops to the chest, belly slightly in, creating space between the shoulder blades. And then inhale, reach your arms up towards the sky. Exhale, release your hands and plant them on either side of that right foot. Step the foot back and come into tabletop. Take a breath. On an exhale, step your left foot through. And then just like you did on the first side, kind of bend and straighten into that front knee a little bit. Tummy is in. And keep your right hand planted. Inhale, inhale the left arm up towards the ceiling. Nice gentle twist. And do whatever feels good for your body here. Relaxing your face and jaw, breathing into the spine as you rotate. Noticing that left foot, softening the bottom of it. On an exhale, release from that twist. Walk your hands up your front thigh, low lunge. Really tucking the tailbone under, pressing the front of that right hip forward. Settle into a place that feels good for you. Sweep the right arm up and over, reaching those left fingertips for the floor, maybe even looking down at the left hand. Feeling some length into the left hip flexor and the side of that right hip. Continuing to breathe. Inhale, sweep your arms all the way up. As you exhale, plant your hands, curl your back toes under and step forward. Come into a forward fold towards the top of your mat and take your feet out the width of your mat. So toes turn slightly in, heels just slightly further out. Put your hands wherever it feels comfortable, soften the back of the neck, and then do what feels good. So fingertips reaching for the floor, grabbing opposite elbows, maybe grabbing onto your ankles. Just whatever feels good. We'll spend a little bit of time here. Some gentle weight shifts from toes to heels. Relaxing your face. Good. Lift up halfway to a flat back. And palms can either come to your shins or you can use a block or keep them on the floor. Reaching through the tailbone. Belly is in. As you exhale, round and fold. Good. Toe heel your feet back in so they're hips distance apart. Maybe even slightly closer. Sink your hips low and then inhale and come into chair pose, Utkatasana. Nice and easy. Doesn't have to be a super big bend in your hips and knees. Just noticing a little bit of activation in the legs, sinking the hips back. Tailbone tucks under, chest lifts. As you exhale, come to mountain pose. Palms are forward, belly is in. Shift your weight onto your right foot. We're going to come into eagle prep. So weight shifts to the right. You're going to cross left over right. Bring the hands to heart center and sink into that standing leg. So as this is towards the beginning of our practice, your balance might not be as good here, and that's fine. So you can feel free to hold on to a wall or a chair for support. You're looking at opening that left hip and knee a little bit, maybe even point and flex the foot or circle it out. Keeping the chest lifted, maybe try sinking a little bit lower into that standing leg if that's available to you today. So you're gonna notice some lengthening into that glute and outer hip and those rotators of the hip on the left. As you exhale, I want you to stand up tall, send that top leg all the way back and come into high lunge. And just lift your gaze, pause and breathe. Relax your face and jaw. And then as you exhale, step forward, mountain pose. Top of your mat. Pedal out the feet a little bit. Notice how you feel. Standing tall, lifting your heart. Shift your weight to your left foot. Hands can come to heart center. You're going to come into that eagle prep on the second side. So that figure 4 position. Bending into that left leg. So just like you did in chair and several of our other poses, you're going to find a slight tailbone tuck in this eagle prep position. So your belly is in. You got that good core activation through the low belly. Nice support for your lumbar spine here. Point and flex your foot or rotate that ankle. Maybe sink a little bit deeper into that left leg if it's available to you. Soften your face. Breathe into the areas where you feel resistance or tightness today. And then slowly start to stand up. Take that top leg, send it all the way back. High lunge. Back knee is straight, nice wide lunge. Soft tops of the shoulders. Opening up through that right hip flexor. As you exhale, step it forward, mountain pose. Good, notice how you feel. Bring your feet a little bit closer together here so they're almost touching or touching if that works for your practice today. On an inhale, come back to chair pose, Utkatasana. As you exhale, bring your hands to heart center and forward bend. Forward fold, ride your breath all the way down. Inhale, lift up to a flat back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sink the hips back. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale to chair, relax your face, belly in. Exhale, forward fold. Relax your neck. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chair. Exhale, mountain. Sun salutation B. Inhale to chair. Tail tucks. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank and pause. 3 breaths in plank. You can take plank from your toes or your knees. Notice the activation in your belly. Inhale and exhale. A couple of times here. And then set your knees down on the mat, lower halfway, chaturanga. Inhale, baby cobra. Lift your heart up. Draw the mat back underneath your hands, tops of the feet flat. Exhale, downward facing dog, pedal out your feet. So first down dog of the practice today, take a little bit of time here. Do what feels good for your body. Continuing to breathe. Think about really allowing your heels to melt down towards the floor, straightening your knees, doing what works for you. And eventually bringing your feet back in so they're about hips distance apart. And then on an inhale, send your right leg up towards the sky, three-legged dog. Exhale, send it forward, come up to warrior one, Virabhadrasana 1. Hips square to the front, lift your gaze towards the ceiling, back knee is straight. Exhale, hands to the mat, plank pose. Breathe in. Exhale, lower half weight, chaturanga, low push-up. Inhale, any back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Ground through your hands and feet. Take a cleansing breath. Inhale through the nose, exhale through the mouth. When you're ready, inhale, left leg high. Exhale, step it forward. Warrior one, rise. Exhale, hands to the mat, plank pose. Breathe in. Exhale, low push-up. Inhale, any back bend. Exhale, downward facing dog. Looking forward, walk or step to the top of your mat. Inhale, flat back. Exhale, round and fold. Inhale, press through your feet, come into chair pose, tailbone tucks. Exhale, mountain pose. Inhale to chair, Utkatasana. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant your hands, step back to plank. Decide if you'd like to take that vinyasa series. If so, lower half weight, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, right leg high. Exhale, warrior one, rise. Breathe. Good. You're going to take that back leg, send it all the way forward, come back to that eagle prep. Sinking into that standing leg. If you'd like, transition to full eagle. Left leg on top, right arm on bottom. Crossing your arms over, palms to touch, elbows at shoulder height. Pause and breathe, maybe sink a little bit deeper, belly is in. On an exhale, slowly unwind. Take that top leg, send it all the way back, warrior two. Gaze over the front hand. Pause and breathe. Relax the tops of your shoulders, belly is in. Relax your face. As you exhale, windmill your hands down to the mat, find plank. Breathe in. Exhale, chaturanga. Inhale, back bend of your choice. Exhale, downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg high, three-legged dog. Exhale, step it forward, warrior one, rise. Relax your face. Notice the ground beneath your feet. Take a breath. As you exhale, step forward to eagle prep. Transition to full eagle if you'd like. Right leg on top. Right arm under, crossing over, elbows at shoulder height. Do what works for your body. Focal points are good here. Sink a little bit deeper if it's available to you. And then as you exhale, slowly come out of it. Step that top leg all the way back, warrior two. Let those shoulders fall down away from your ears. Nice and soft and relaxed. Belly in, tail tucked. As you exhale, windmill your hands down to the mat. Find plank. Vinyasa or press it back to downward facing dog. Pedal out those feet. Once you're in downward facing dog, take a couple of cleansing breaths. And we'll do another hip opener here. So moving into pigeon pose if that works for you. If it doesn't, you'll come to your back and do reclining pigeon. So we'll take that right leg, slide it forward and set it up for pigeon pose. So props are good here, even a rolled towel or a shirt. You're gonna reach back through your left leg. The goal is to have that lower leg parallel to the front edge of your mat. So that's the goal. You want to avoid kind of rolling off to the side on that right hip. So that's where a prop is good to position right underneath that right sit bone. Depending on where you feel restricted in this pose, you could stay on a straight elbow here, or you can come down to your forearms. So do what works for your body. I think the biggest thing sometimes when we come into more poses that we might not spend a ton of time in is just trying to let our bodies relax in the poses. So if you feel like you're really holding yourself in a particular pose, it's going to be hard to let those muscles lengthen around your hips. So try to meet your body where it's at a little bit too. Otherwise, you're staying where you are there, breathing into that pose. If you're more comfortable, you can come to your back and just take that figure 4 stretch, crossing right over left. So either position is fine. Inhaling and exhaling. If you're in that traditional pigeon pose, go ahead and start to walk your hands up if you came down to your forearms. And then tuck your toes under, press back to downward facing dog, and just kind of walk out the legs a little bit. Notice the difference between sides. And then eventually coming back, bringing your feet about hips distance apart, and then sending that left foot forward, or left leg forward, reaching back through your right foot, setting up for pigeon on side 2, straight elbow or walking down to your forearms, keeping your pelvis situated in the center, prop underneath that left sit bone as you need to. And then also just keeping in mind that it's perfectly acceptable to come to your back. Maybe you can do traditional pigeon on one side, but on the other side it does not feel very good. So that's a good place to take an alternate pose. And just kind of breathe into those spaces where you feel those restrictions. Kind of mentioned that earlier in the class today, so just circling back around, giving yourself some time and some space to find length. And also notice if your mind starts to wander, try to just bring it back to your breath. Just kind of the gentle rise and fall of the breath, or the belly with each breath. Just allowing yourself to take time to be present in the space, to move your body, to take some time for yourself. And wherever you are, eventually starting to make your way back up. And then come into downward facing dog if that feels good. Pedal out those feet again. And then come back to plank pose and lower yourself all the way down to your stomach. Slide your forearms slightly forward and come into Sphinx. Nice passive back bend here. Letting the hips release, letting the abdominals lengthen. And Maybe blink your eyes closed here. Let your low back release. If you're comfortable on your stomach, we're going to come into crocodile pose for our final relaxation pose today. So I know traditionally, sometimes we don't lay on our stomachs very often, but it can be really therapeutic just for the front body opening, just to kind of give ourselves a different perspective. So with crocodile, you're going to turn your toes out to the side. You're going to stack your hands and bring your forehead to your hands, or if you're more comfortable turning your head to the side, you can do that. And we'll just be here for a few moments, so you don't have to, if it's really uncomfortable, you can make your way to Shavasana traditionally on our backs instead of this crocodile pose. So wherever you are, deepen your breath once again. Blink your eyes closed. If you're laying on your stomach, kind of feel that expansion of the belly into the ground. The support that you feel underneath your front body, allow that to bring you some stability for this afternoon, some grounding in your day. Let go of your worries. Let yourself be here. Let every last muscle go from the head all the way down to your feet. Allow yourself to be fully supported. Let the breath be easy and effortless. The mind and body still for a few moments.